It's alright.
Oh my god!
Yo guys, what is up? Max here, Borderlands 3 video, and today we are going over Zane's new skill tree. Now, I was given early access to showcase the skill tree and play around with it to share with you guys. These skill trees will not be available to the public until November 10th, just something that you guys should know. And this new skill tree is so much fun. Now, we're going to go over everything you guys need to know about each of the skills, and then we'll talk about the synergies. We have a lot to get into today. If you guys do enjoy the video, be sure to drop a like, comment, and subscribe. And with that, guys, let's get right into it. Alright, so we're going to go through all of the skills and the augments, and then we'll go in depth on the synergies and items and gear that this build works, or this new skill tree works really well with. Now, starting us off, we have the Mantis shoulder cannon, which is Zane's new action skill, shoulder mounted cannon. Zane fire his cannon at his crosshairs and consumes one charge. This comes with 3 charges and has a cooldown of 12 seconds at base. Now, this cannon isn't the hardest hitting of action skills, like compared to like Amara's phase flare, but this thing is basically spammable. We'll get into that in a second, but one of the most important things that this new action skill provides is a use of on-action skill and anointments. You can now use on-action skill splash anointments. You can use the on-action skill start Nova shields, like the Stinger and the Burner. There's so many things that like weren't really available to Zane that is now available, and it works really well. For example, I have 5 charges of the Mantis cannon right now. I have a Nova shield on.
Need a charge!
Just to give you an idea of what this skill tree can do, just like right off the bat, without even going into the skills, the Mantis shoulder cannon is amazing for proccing all of these on-action skill and anointments. Now, our first skill is Mana Focus. Activating an action skill grants Zane increased accuracy and handling for a short time. This effect stacks. Now, you're going to get 29% accuracy and 28% handling, and this stacks every time you activate your action skill. So, like, as you can see, my Maggie is basically a laser now, which we'll talk about in a second, but you can get absolutely absurd accuracy and this stacks. You spam your cannon, and look at the spread of the Maggie. That's 6 shots, all landing dead on the head. This skill is insane and synergizes really, really well with all the things we're about to get into. Next up, we have Renegade. After scoring a critical hit, Zane regenerates health for a short time. Decent health regen. You're going to be scoring a lot of critical hits. Not something that's super necessary because we can get lifesteal pretty easily, but nice skill there. Next up, we have Deja Vu. Whenever Zane kills an enemy with a critical hit, there's a chance for 1 ammo to be added to his magazine. Now, this looks like Flax skill. I'm blanking on it right now, but it works differently in that when you kill an enemy with a critical hit, there's a chance for 1 ammo to be added. This is not guaranteed. While you're shooting your weapon at an enemy, you're not going to be adding to the magazine, and only when you actually kill the enemy, then there's a chance to get 1 projectile back. So solid skill. I haven't been enjoying this one as much just because you need to actually kill an enemy, and then there's only a chance on kill when you kill them with a critical hit to get that ammo back. Next up, we have Headsman's hand kill skill. Zane gains increased critical hit damage. This affects stacks. This is gonna give you when you use your kill skill 50% bonus or increased critical hit damage, which is really, really nice. The bonuses to crit damage help spread out Zane's damage formula, which was very just focused on gun damage, so really nice thing to have there. Next up, we have tunnel vision. While moving, Zane gains increased accuracy and handling. The quicker Zane moves, the greater the bonus. More crazy accuracy and handling. I don't think you need both Mana Focus and tunnel vision, but if you're going to go for one or the other, you can get a ton of accuracy and handling with these 2 skills. Next up, we have our first real crazy skill. Commitment. Kill skill. Zane gains increased gun damage and action skill cooldown rate. Gun damage plus 25%, cooldown rate plus 25. Now, this looks pretty standard. You being maybe asking, Maxi, why is this a crazy skill? Do you guys see a stack limit to this thing? That's because there isn't one. Every time, for example, if you're using Seeing Red, and when you ever use your action skill, you're going to proc kill skills. This is a kill skill. You can stack this thing up like crazy. Now the stacks do decay, and you can kind of see them vaguely in the very right corner of my skill bar. But I have 8. We can stack them up like this as well. 12, 13. The highest I've been able to get them to is 20, which is a disgusting amount of gun damage and cooldown rate, which is insane. So commitment is very, very awesome and works very well with this skill tree. Next up, we have Fugitive. Zane can sprint and shoot at the same time. Zane players have been needing this for a while. Moze basically got this skill, and it was kind of unfair. Zane can now sprint and shoot at the same time, which is awesome because a lot of Zane's damage is based off of how fast he's moving. So kind of just a direct damage increase for Zane. Next up, we have Domino Effect. Whenever Zane scores a critical hit, he gains increased fire rate and reload speed for a short time. If he scores a critical hit with his action skill, he doubles this effect. You're able to get a bunch of reload speed and fire rate. Scoring a critical hit with the action skill, I'm going to be honest, for me is a little difficult. I had trouble aiming this thing. The Mantis cannon, maybe if you're on keyboard and mouse, it'll be easier, but I wasn't great at aiming this thing. Next up, the Art of War. After activating an action skill or action skill ability, Zane's next shot fired from his weapon deal increased damage. This effect stacks. So once again, you can stack this up with the Mantis cannon, stack it up with action skill canceling, however you want to stack it up, and then your next shot is going to have a crap ton of gun damage and then a crap ton of more gun damage. This is pretty crazy for like pre-stacking for boss kills, but also when you're mobbing and running around, this is awesome damage. Next up, we have Sheer Will. Zane gains increased action skill cooldown rate. Scoring a critical hit increases this effect. This effect stacks. Lots of cooldown rate for this. I was messing around with this earlier. You don't really need this skill if you're going to be speccing into commitment, just because you're already going to be getting a silly amount of cooldown rate from commitment. And then next we have Eraser. Zane's critical hits pierce through enemies for all weapons, dealing increased damage for every enemy pierced. That is right, Zane gets bored. Your shots will just straight up go through enemies and deal increased damage. So very cool that Zane got bored, because I love this skill in Borderlands 2. And finally, we have the capstone, our man Flint. While aiming down sights, Zane's weapons deal bonus damage and automatically apply their status effect when he scores a critical hit. So anytime you aim down sight, you're going to get plus 25% bonus damage and automatically apply your status effect when he scores a critical hit. This is very good for using cryo weapons and freezing enemies with cryo, and it's just nice to get that little bit of bonus extra damage. Now, let's go through the augments, and then we'll talk about all the synergies and what I think works best with this skill tree. We have Colder Shoulder. Converts Zane Mantis shoulder cannon damage to cryo damage, but deals reduced damage. Additionally, Zane gains increased cryo freeze rate. This is one of my favorite augments because of this passive freeze rate and the shoulder cannon freezing enemies. Zane works really well with cryo, and I'm a big fan of this one. Next up, Wet Work. Whenever Zane kills an enemy with his shoulder cannon, that enemy explodes into an elemental puddle. We have No Way Out. Whenever Zane damages an enemy with his shoulder cannon, that enemy is pulled to him and takes increased damage for a short time. Additionally, Zane's Mantis shoulder cannon cooldown is increased. Now, this with the Hellwalker, if you guys ever wanted to play like a Doom guy build and just yoink people towards you and then shotgun them in the face, it's a lot of fun. Definitely like this skill. And we have our last two augments. Brain Drain. Whenever Zane kills an enemy with a critical hit from the shoulder cannon, 2 charges are instantly returned. This is really nice. Like I said, I was having difficulty actually hitting things with the shoulder cannon and was using it a lot as just an action skill procer. And then my favorite one, Proliferation. Zane's Mantis shoulder cannon gains additional charges and deals increased damage based on the number of charges remaining. This is what allows me to just spam out the cannons and stack up all of my skills like crazy. Now, let's talk about synergies and what's possible with this. Now, the reason the title says that you do not need Seeing Dead anymore is because you don't need Seeing Dead anymore. Seeing Dead was great for always having your kill skills active and always refreshing them every time you were shooting. Now, Seeing Red is going to proc all of our kill skills whenever we use our action skill. And because of the cooldown and the amount of charges that this cannon gets, you basically are able to spam this and keep up periodically your anoints and all of your kill skills without any issues. It's not quite as crazy as Seeing Dead for keeping up your action skills at all the time, but every time you proc your action skill, and I've got no crazy weird cooldown thing going on, that's like literally how much you can spam this thing. You're going to be proccing like Good Misfortune, which every time you use it, you're going to get a duration of your action skill back. So I like using the Mantis with something else, whether it be Sentinel, whether it be Digiclone, whether it be Barrier. And it basically removes the need for using a Seeing Dead, which is awesome. If you respect into the Blue Tree Capstone, you need to be spec'ing the Blue Tree Capstone for that to work. Now, what that means is we can use other class mods, which is awesome. I have been loving the Executor. The Executor just got a huge buff, and it has a kill skill. Whenever Zane kills an enemy, he gains increased accuracy, handling critical damage, status effect damage, status effect chance. This synergizes really well with pretty much everything in this new tree, and the critical hit damage is 90% increased critical hit damage on the Executor. So I've been using this with Jacob's weapons to great success. Now, you still can use a Seeing Dead. Another really cool thing that you guys can use with this is now you can really use the splash damage annoyed. Zane does really well with splash damage, but has a difficult time using it. Now you can, like, guaranteed always be proccing your bonus splash damage, which is one of the only anoints that actually increases the damage that Clone does. So you can constantly be giving your Clone 200 splash. You guys already know how hard the Clone hits. That is one way to make this thing amazing. And it all kind of comes with Zane being able to use anoints that he couldn't really use before. Things like Stinger Shields, I already talked about this. Nova Shields are crazy. O.M. Anything that procs on action skill start, the Frozen Heart, you can just run around freezing everything. No issues there. And pair that with an Icebreaker Victory Rush to give you that V2 damage when enemies are frozen, get that bonus damage against them. There's so many different synergies, and I should have some extra videos out going over some like very specific interactions and builds that you could do with this, but the fact that Zane can now use on-action skill and anoints and use them very well is amazing, and this new tree is amazing. Lastly, the Lucky 7 crits and the whole tree synergizes with crits, so if you want to make a Lucky 7 build, it is insane. And guys, that is it for the video. I hope y'all enjoyed. I hope you learned something new. If you did, be sure to drop a like, comment, and subscribe. And I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace!